What a bullet! Scott Arfield! He's been threatening that recently, and all the Burnley players run to the Darwin end.
Burnley win the next ball. Here's Sir Rory now. On the outside.
Barnes! He got it! Ashley Barnes with it! What a cross from Sir Rory! And there was Ashley Barnes! And Burnley leading the derby.
Knocks it quickly. Finds Benson in space at the byline. Can Burnley get a goal here? Back for Brown now. Saved by the keeper!
Burnley won it to the end! That is magnificent! They deserve that!
On it by Paul Teller. Off for a hat-trick.
He's got it! Hat-trick for Nathan Teller! Oh, he's on fire at the minute! 3-0 Burnley! It's Nathan Teller's day!
And Burnley are 3 up here. Fantastic derby. Here's Benson. Can he go on the outside? Comes inside. Top shot.
Oh, the goal! Manuel Benson once more! That is top class!
Burnley have done it. Fantastic. Clarets deserve the championship title. They've been the best side throughout the campaign. Burnley have won the second tier. What a fantastic achievement. The players have been magnificent.
Yes, hello everyone and welcome along to the latest instalment of the Turfcast podcast pre-game show with me, Joe Redmond, ahead of this weekend's game against Middlesbrough up at the Riverside Stadium, a stadium which actually now holds some decent memories for Burnley. I know I got that in last time, Johnny, to be honest, but this time we're going up to the stadium, so it'll be good for some fans to see it again. Obviously not been back since. Change of scenery for me today. I'm actually at work on my lunch break. These are the levels of dedication I have to Turfcast these days. Just sort of quickly squeeze the podcast in. And you'll recognise my guest who was on the show about three and a half weeks ago. It's Johnny from Borough Breakdown. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you, Joel, mate. Yeah, that's dedication for coming on your lunch break as well. That's hardcore content creators, that. So I tip my hat to you there, mate. Really good.
Thank you, mate. Hopefully the viewers appreciate it. Hopefully they do. But we all know you're a good guest. Firstly, mate, obviously, did you have a good Christmas?
I did, thank you, mate. Yeah, I really did. Really wholesome. Good to be with family and my partner. And yeah, just a shame that the Boxing Day game brought me right back down to earth again, to be honest. How about yourself?
Yeah, good Christmas, thank you, mate. Similar sort of thing, just spending it with family and that sort of thing. But I only had 3 days off, and I was straight back into work the day after Boxing Day. But at least Boxing Day for us was actually quite decent. But you've mentioned your recent form there in a way. Obviously, what happened last time out? Because you were 3-0 up at home against Sheffield Wednesday. Okay, they're a half decent side, in with an outside shout of the playoffs. They probably will fall short. But you've got to be seeing them games out, haven't you? What happened? How come you threw it away?
You absolutely have to be seeing those games out if you want to be in the top 6 this season. And what happened? Well, accumulation of a few things, to be honest. Danny Roll changed at half time because Borough were beating through him on the press, getting in some really good areas and able to create plenty of chances and put them away. And at 3-0, you're thinking, try and see the game out, use a bit of shithousery if you need to, and just kill the game, really. And in the second half, Danny Roll changed it, moved from a back 3 to a 4-1-4-1, went man for man in midfield, pinned our full-backs back. And then it was an accumulation of, you get the first goal, and you feel that, you can always feel that as a fan. You can feel the momentum shift ever so slightly. And Borough just lost complete control of the game. And the next thing you know, you've got a man sent off, your keeper's gone off injured, you've got another 2 injuries on top of that. And you're down to 10 men. They've just scored 2 from absolutely nowhere. And it's 3-3, and you're down to 10 men, and you're thinking, oh my God, we could get beat 4-5-3 here. And if it did happen, you'd be like, well, they probably deserved it because Borough have just combusted. But that is Middlesbrough in a season. If you want to see how Middlesbrough are in one game and how we've looked across the whole season, that was probably the game. Outstanding in the first half, but horrendous in the second. And it's that topsy-turvy nature of how we play, which is just starting to frustrate fans ever so slightly now, because we're just not killing games off and we're dropping points when we shouldn't be. And that's kind of where we are right now.
Game before that as well, conceded 3 away at Plymouth. A side that Well, they're awful, Plymouth. Let's not beat around the bush. They're absolutely awful. To be fair, we laboured past them when we got past them. We did labour past them, but that was quite a while ago. You'd think if we played them now, hopefully we'd be able to put them to the sword a little bit more because we feel like we have turned the corner. But yeah, 6 goals conceded in your last 2 games. Is there any alarm bells there from Borough fans with that stat?
It's not well, you know what it's like if I was to describe it as like a meme or anything like that. It's all that dog way sat in the room and the room's on fire. It's
Yeah,
kind of what it feels like, where it's like our defense a little bit. Teams that target our wings are getting really good success, and everyone can see it, but we're just not adapting to it. And it's really
yeah,
frustrating from a fan perspective because how we utilize our wing backs and midfielders, where midfielders will come inwards and then it leaves your wing backs exposed. If teams really do set out in a good balance, like 4-1-4-1, or we'll try and double up on the wings, you'll find success. We did some analysis on our pod, which a couple of podcasts ago, but we showed how teams recently have set up against Middlesbrough and found success. And it's really interesting to find that 3 versus 1 on the left back, 2v1 on the right back, and they're trying to find success getting the ball in the box, and that's why we're conceding goals, because we're getting outnumbered, the ball's coming back, and then they're in a really good position to score. So we have to adjust it. We have to adjust it. If we don't adjust it, then you can kiss the playoffs goodbye, and I think that is a failure for us.
yeah. Fair enough. Obviously, after that, a decent win against Millwall and a defeat at Ellen Road, where there's no massive shame in losing there. That they seem to beat everyone at the minute at Ellen Road, obviously apart from Burnley. And then before that, what was the game at the Turf? To be fair, obviously you might have noticed the questions tend to be a little bit different on this one because we spoke, like I said earlier, 3.5 weeks ago. So there's no point me saying to you, "How's your season going?" Because you answered that question 3.5 weeks ago. But we have just recently played, like we said. Obviously, 1-1 at the Turf. I came away from that game thinking 2 good sides there, 2 sides that wanted to win the match. How did Middlesbrough fans feel about that match?
Yeah, the same. It was a really good game, wasn't it? I think we shared it second half base, and then in the first half, I thought you guys were the much better side, much more dominant in around the box, and we got that goal really from what 6 or 7 minutes in, where it was really good play from us, getting in behind, and Dykesdale, who scored his first ever league goal for Middlesbrough in the 4 years that he's been here. Typical that he would score that against a side who's kept so many clean sheets, right? And then Seny Dieng gets lobbed from about 30 yards from Conor Roberts' way. Shouldn't be really. And I think if that doesn't go in, do we grow in confidence more? Do we kill the game off? Well, based on our record, we don't. But yeah, I thought it was a really good game. A draw was, I would say, the right result for both sides, to be honest, just based on the 2 halves. And you come away thinking, well, got another point against Burnley there. We've had some decent results in around the top 6. You know, you start to feel a little bit confident, don't you? And yeah, those recent results have definitely brought me back down to earth a little bit.
Yeah, fair enough. It's interesting to hear it from a Middlesbrough perspective because I do feel like that goal was a good goal. It was a good pass from whoever passed it. I can't remember. And then a decent finish from the lad as well. But I was looking at it thinking Esteve has been pulled out of position there, and you've got John Egan playing him on. So it's interesting to hear it from a Middlesbrough perspective. Obviously, we've spoken about your form, and like we said, it's fair to say that your form's probably not fallen off a cliff. I think that's harsh, but it's somewhat stagnated since you played at the Turf. Obviously, as I mentioned, the defeat against Leeds, a victory against Millwall, but then a couple of poor draws in there as well. Burnley, on the other hand, currently unbeaten in I think it's 10 at the minute since the game against Middlesbrough. Obviously, we had a poor result last time. That last home game, the home game after that against Derby. But then a good win at Carrow Road, a decent win at home to a decent Watford side, and then a very, very, very impressive win last time out against Sheffield United, where Burnley completely dominated that match. Like the stats don't look like domination. And to be fair, someone criticised me for saying dominate. Control is the better way of saying it. We 100% controlled that match. Are you guys a little bit worried about the form that Burnley are in at the minute? Because last time out, you came to the Turf in good form, and we were kind of looking at your form, thinking, "Oh, well, this could be the game that people score against us." Obviously, you didn't. You couldn't get the win, but now we're coming into it looking at your form stagnating a little bit. We're really in form. What's the Middlesbrough perspective on this game? Are you guys a little bit nervous?
It would be very typical Middlesbrough to win the game convincingly, to be honest, just based on how we're currently playing. It's a really interesting game, to be honest. I think that Parker has adapted his way of playing slightly. I think he's much more adaptable than when he has been in previous roles, to be honest. I remember when you asked me the last time, what do I think of Scott Parker? And I was like, well, you can't really complain too much. But then as I've started to watch Burnley over the last few games, I've noticed just like there's subtle differences where he's sometimes reluctant to give up possession, where before he was just like, nah, death by 1,000 passes, and we'll try and just carve open a chance from there. But no, I think sometimes he's kind of willing to give things up now and adapt his approach, which I think is giving you the rewards now, to be honest. And a little bit nervous, to be honest, but we have no pressure going at the game now. We have to try and get something. I think people are looking at this one and saying, well, if you can get a result against Burnley, then it still shows that you're a good side and you can still do really good things this season. But if you get thumped 3-0, I think questions start to get asked and go, okay, do we really think that we're good enough? I did say on our last show or the show before that the Plymouth result was a result where Borough's promotion dream pretty much died, because if you can't kill off those games, you can't kill off Sheffield Wednesday, and you concede too many individual errors and goals, you're going to get punished against these good sides and you won't be good enough to go up. And I think if we do make those mistakes, I think Burnley go away and win convincingly at the Riverside, to be honest, tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? It is tomorrow.
Yeah, well, it is tomorrow. Yeah, honestly.
I'll leave the after. What day is it?
We're recording this on Saturday if you listen to this on Sunday. But the game is on Sunday. And you forget what day it is. And I remember when I sent you that link today about an hour ago, I remember thinking, is it, do I say tomorrow? Is it? It's because I didn't know what day it was. I'm like, is it Friday or Saturday? And when I got into work today, I'm like, well, what rotor are we on? Is it Friday or Saturday? So yeah, it's confusing this time of year, isn't it? But injuries and suspensions, mate. I have seen an article from the Burnley Express. So it might not be 100% correct, and that's not a dig at the Burnley Express. It's just obviously it's not your local. It's not the Teesside Gazette, for example. But they're talking about Middlesbrough having quite a few injury concerns coming to this game. Luke Ayling is reportedly a doubt. So is Neto Borges. He's reportedly a doubt. Goalkeeper Sol Bryn reportedly a doubt. And Tommy Conway. Now, if he's out, that would obviously be a bonus for Burnley. But then obviously you've got Latte Latta coming as well, to be fair. That's probably one area where you are stacked. But it sounds like you're coming into this game with quite a lot of injury concerns. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, we've got 11 players out at the moment. So you could pretty much make a full team. Well, there's 2 goalkeepers, so one will have to play out field a little bit to put Dieng up in the 10 or something. But yeah, we've got 11 players out. So we've got Sol Bryn, who dislocated his shoulder against Sheffield Wednesday, and Seny Dieng is a doubt and injured at the moment. Tommy Smith and Ayling, both. Tommy Smith and Darragh Lenihan, both long-term injuries. Ayling still a doubt. Borges went off with injury against Sheffield Wednesday. Tommy Conway is hamstring went. Force is still a doubt. Bangura is a long-term injury. And Morrison House and still injuries, have injuries too. And then you've got Edmondson, who played centre half in the last game against you guys, injured as well. So a lot of players out, a lot of experience that you're missing from the group, but the creative players are still there. So you still have Finn Azaz, you still have Latte Lath, Ben Doak, Keziah Jones, who will most likely come in, I think, for this game, and the Lionel Bergs or Ryan McGree. So there's enough creative options for Borough going forward, but there's a lot of players out, a lot of experience, and a lot of players who would normally break up the game and get Borough playing again. So that midfield battle will be interesting come Sunday.
Yeah, do you think that's Do you think that's why you're conceding a little bit more recently? Obviously, like we mentioned earlier, 6 goals conceded in your last 2 games. Do you think that's part of the reason then?
Yeah, I think we miss Aidan Morris a lot. Brought him in earlier in the season, and he breaks up a game so well. We do miss that second player who would come in if he was injured. Johnny Howson's very experienced, but it's like kind of like the family dog is on his last legs. It's like put him out with Smoothie kind of thing. And Dan Barlaser is just a deep line player maker. Like he played that pass through for Dijksteel in the first game against you guys, and it was superb. He likes to drop in defence and then play a long ball over the top. So we do miss that break up and play, to be honest. And with the experience as well, that definitely does play a part. I don't think we've had a consistent back four for the majority of the season. How that can pay dividends. So really good question, and it's definitely playing the part of why Borough conceding goals for sure.
Fair enough. Do you think all these injuries are going to make you set up in a different way, or can we expect a similar style from Middlesbrough to what we saw at the Turf?
Yeah, I've alluded to it a few times that I think Middlesbrough would look really balanced in the back three. We do build up in a back three, and we do adjust in possession. But I do think that playing with wing backs would just suit us more for the time being. Just give us that balance, solidity. We can still create chances. It's not too different to what we're playing at the moment. But those three centre halves, if they were available, would be the right way to do it. Unfortunately, just due to injuries, I can't see us change the system for this game. I do expect a couple of changes. I think Isaiah Jones will come in for Ben Dork. I think Lucas Engel will come in for Neto Borges because it's a forced change. And I still think we'll play with Delano Bergzog on the left-hand side just because teams are targeting that wing, targeting the wings at the moment. Therefore, I just think it makes sense to play with an out-and-out winger in Bergzog rather than bringing in Ryan McGree, who likes to come in more central. So, yeah, it's an interesting game for us, and I think we'll make one or two changes, probably more defensive mind.
Yeah, I think last time we spoke, you were pretty confident that the majority of fans backed Carrick. Is that still the same, or has there been a few more loud minorities sort of like calling for his head now that the form's dropped a little bit?
Yeah, you always get it, don't you? You always get it
you
like
do.
Carrick's the worst thing in the world. What does Jonathan Woodgate do? And, we did obviously have a big change in Danks going to Bayern Munich in the summer. Does that play a part? Does it not? Who knows? You're not on the training ground to really see the difference, right? So
Yeah.
there is a bit of frustration, mainly because we're not getting the results we should be. And we should be at least, top 5 at the moment. But that's kind of where Borough should be, to be honest. Like, brutally honest, like 5 to 8th. It's kind of where we are. But our underlying numbers are so good. And you just think, well, surely it's going to come good again. And will it balance out? I'm not too sure. But yeah, that little voice is just getting a little bit louder and louder and louder. But that's just football, that, right? If you lose 2 or 3 games in the spin, you're the worst team in the world, aren't you? So yeah, just the reactionary thing of football, I guess. But I think the most part, I think everyone still really likes Carrick and wants him to succeed.
Yeah, it's good to hear that, to be fair. Obviously, like you said, you get it everywhere. I think when we drew 0-0 against Derby, they all came back out again. Obviously, not long after your result. And now we've won 3 in a row. Obviously, they're very quiet again. But just looking at, obviously, goals scored, 41 for you. Second joint highest in the league. Leeds, obviously, scored a few recently. So they're on 43. What are your sort of like expectations for the season then? Do you think you can break into that playoffs? Because you have fallen away a little bit, but I feel like a lot of the teams around there are struggling, apart from Watford. I think last time me and you came on here, I think I said Watford will fall away, and then I think they beat Sheffield Wednesday like 6-2 or something like that. They seem to have started doing well again. You've got some other teams in there whose name I won't mention who are stuttering a little bit. Do you think you can get back into that sort of like best of the rest and finish 5th and then be in the playoffs come the end of the season?
Yeah, I definitely think we will. I think we'll finish in the playoffs comfortably, hopefully, fingers crossed. And if we don't, then God help us. But we score enough to, and that's the comforting thing of if you are scoring enough goals, you will most likely finish in the right area coming the end of the season. Just the other way that you're a bit concerned about. But I still think we will do it. We always, and we have done, always come good under Carrick in the second half of the season. So it's a good omen for us to go on a decent run and finish where we should be. We actually are better off than we have been in the last couple of seasons. So the omens are there. We've got the quality to do it. And I think it's a failure if we don't. But who knows? I still think we will. And my prediction is I think we'll finish about 5th or 6th. And let's see who we play in that point. If it's Sunderland, I still think we do them over 2 legs. I really do. I'm convinced that we would. And then, but if it's against the likes of yourselves or Sheffield United or Leeds, then you're thinking, well, the season's pretty much done. I don't think we'll go up, I'll be brutally honest, but I do think we'll get the playoffs.
I agree. I think you finish 5th, potentially 4th. I think Sunderland. I don't know. I've been saying it for ages. And they're another team. Like they've stagnated a little bit, but now they started picking up again. To be fair, and they've got some brilliant midfielders. Have Sunderland, but I keep sort of like worrying about them and thinking that they'll fall away, and then somebody like yourselves will pick them to that point. It's interesting to hear you say talking about playing Sunderland, obviously biggest rivals and stuff. There's nothing more I would hate than playing Blackburn in the playoffs. Could you imagine that? No, not for me. So it's interesting to hear you talk about that with such sort of like confidence in that. I'd be like, please, no, I don't want to play them. Even though I do think we are man for man better than them, you just never know. You just never know. Anyway, let's get into the actual game itself then, mate. What are your predictions then? Obviously, home advantage for Middlesbrough this time, but conceding a lot of goals. Burnley, on the other hand, slowly starting getting better, still not conceding too many, and going into it with a lot of confidence after a good win at Bramall Lane. However, the games are coming thick and fast, so Scott Parker might tinker with it a little bit. What's your predictions and sort of like thoughts on how the game will pan out?
Yeah, I think we'll tweak it too. I think it's going to be a really interesting game. It's going to be really interesting. I'm expecting a Desmond here. I think it's going to be 2-2, a draw again. I think we'll create chances, but like you've seen in the first game against us, we will happily give you something. We're top. I think we're top for most chances like given away or something daft like a chance leading to an error. I think the actual metric is, but yeah, I'm expecting a bit of a goal fest. 2-2, difficult game for us, but I think that's what everyone wants, to be honest. 3-3 to twice, 2-2. May as well. It'd be very boring to do it. So that's what I'm feeling. 2-2 Desmond. I think that you guys will score first. We'll equalise, you score again, and then we'll equalise again. So yeah, I think that's how we'll end up.
Yeah, would I take 2-2? I think in isolation it's a good result. And I think I put a tweet up and a Facebook post and stuff ahead of our run of fixtures when we had who did we have? Watford at home, then Sheffield United, then yourselves. I put something up there saying how many points would you take from this? Most Burnley fans were saying 5 would be a great return. We've already got 6. So if we then manage to draw with you guys and then get 7 from them 3, you've got to look back at that and think, well, that's a great return. That. But I don't know. We're just in good form at the minute. I've started to get a little bit giddy again. I'm getting a little bit happy again. I agree. I do think you score, but I think you give us chances as well. We didn't create as much from memory. Again, I might be proven wrong here, but I don't seem to remember us creating too much against you last time. Obviously, Roberts scored the worldie, but the goalkeeper probably should do better. But again, you scored last time, albeit through Burnley eyes from some bad defending. So I think you score again. I'm going to go 2-1, and I know you said goal fest. That is a goal fest for Burnley. So I'm going to go 2-1 for the Clarets. So fingers crossed we can get it over the line. And if we make it 9 points from them 3, and then we're going into a home game against Stoke, and with then I think Blackburn after that. It is Blackburn after that. Then we can hopefully rest some players against Stoke, and then go into the game against Blackburn with our tails well and truly up. But Johnny, thank you for coming on the show. A little bit shorter this time. Obviously, we have just spoken. But do you want to let everyone know where they can find you and your Middlesbrough content if they want to digest any of it before or after the fixture?
Yeah, of course. Just search for the Borough Breakdown podcast on YouTube and the podcast providers, and then we're also on social media as well. Just search for Borough Breakdown, and you should be able to find us from there.
Yep, happy days. Cheers, Johnny, and good luck for the rest of the season. But as I always say, obviously after Sunday.
Yeah, after Sunday. Good luck, mate, and I'll speak to you soon.